just a reminder, if you are on the phone, if you could please mute your line if you're not speaking, but just make sure you don't mute my FSSA line because then we have to sign back in again. So if you could mute your own, that would be great. As per previous, when we get to roll call voting, I will go through the vote and you can say aye, nay, or abstain, depending on what the voting is. And when we get to public comment, we will make sure that we ask for public comment either in the room or on the phone. You can send a message in the chat box now if you wish to provide public comment, or you can wait till we get closer to that time. And I will defer to Dr. Ott as we move through the agenda. So I think those are all of our housekeeping items. So Dr. Ott, I will turn it over to you for our call to order and remarks of the chair.
Sure, thanks. And I want to wish everybody a happy holiday. And I know that I'm certainly looking forward to my winter break, although it's not going to be long enough, really. So welcome, everyone. We will call this December 2023 meeting of the DUR board to order. I don't have any other remarks.
All right, then I will turn it over to Ms. Lugo with OMPP.
Hi, everybody. Couple changes in board member makeup that I want to announce today. Dr. Rao has resigned his position. That's effective now. So we thank him for his service over the years. We do have a new board member, and that is Dr. Lynn Toma. She is on camera for you right now. Welcome, Lynn, and I want you to go ahead and give a little background about yourself and what you currently do and how you practice.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. Thanks for the introduction and happy to be here and hopefully contribute in a positive way. My name is Lynn Toma. I am a pharmacist by training. I did a community pharmacy residency years ago and then worked in the community pharmacy space for a little bit and an independent. Most recently was at HealthLink, which is a federally qualified health center up north. I was the director of pharmacy there for about 8 years. Now I work for a company called Visa, practicing more in the health system space. So have kind of been all over the realm of pharmacy. But yeah, like I said, happy to be here and thanks for having me.
Welcome. We're happy to have you. If there's ever a point during the meeting where you're unsure of what's happening, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll try and update you as much as we can as we go through and make sure you're on board with us, but please feel free to ask questions whenever you have them.
Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Sure. Dr. Ott, before we get to approval of the minutes, I heard that you may or may not want to cover elections for the January chair and vice chair.
Well, I didn't know that was up to me, but do we need to have the chair for 2024 before 2024?
So Courtney and I went back and reviewed, and we can't find specifically where. Sometimes we did it in December, sometimes we did it in January. So I am fine either way. If you would like to do it now, we can. I'm happy for us to lead it now. If you'd like to wait till January, we can do it then too.
Well, I think, doesn't Dr. Marshall move up to chair since he's the vice chair?
Is that how it works? I thought they elected their own.
Yeah, so historically, whoever is chair alternates pharmacist physician, and whoever is the vice chair moves up. So from my years with the DUR board, we have just elected the vice chair with the chair moving up. And I don't know, where's TR?
No, we've always, every 2 years we elect one or the other, and you're right, after the first year, the person moves up. But when did we do the last vote? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Last year. We voted last year.
Then you're right. Then I move up, and we don't have to vote this year.
Well, we have to vote on
the vice chair.
Yeah.
Well, you become it.
She's in now.
Well, historically,
not by default. I mean, it's like that has to be elected.
That's what I thought. That's what we always did. 1 year, yeah. That's what I thought.
Well, it is what we've always done, but I'm happy to serve again. We just need to take a vote for vice chair since TR is moving up to chair, I think is how it works. Leslie, is that okay with you?
So I'm discussing that with Sean Ross. Is that okay?
Yeah. She was asking me if you wanted to do this, and I said, I thought I heard you just say that, but I was, actually, I'm not sure. So did you want that position?
Sure, I'm happy to serve as vice chair in 2024.
Okay,
Unless there's somebody else on the board that would like.
Yeah, we can take nominations if there's other nominations. For anybody else who would like to be vice chair, it would need to be a pharmacist member. So sorry, doctors, this year you'll have to wait until next year to vie for the coveted vice chair position. Any other nominations besides Dr. Ott?
I know.
All right, I'm hearing none, so if we could get a motion and a second, please, for Dr. Ott to serve as vice chair in 2024.
This is Peter. Move to approve with gusto.
With gusto. All right, so I have a motion and a second, so I am going to go through the roll call vote. Dr. Ott?
Aye.
Dr. Klaas?
Aye.
Ms. Pippin?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Dr. Marshall?
Aye.
Dr. Simon?
Aye.
Dr. Toma?
Aye.
Dr. Treadwell?
Aye.
And Dr. Williams?
Aye.
All right, so we have all ayes. So Carol, you will have the privilege and honor of being vice chair next year, should Dr. Marshall be unable to fulfill his duties as chair.
Boy, that's loaded, but I'm happy to serve in this position, so thank you very much. Okay, so do we move on to approval of the minutes?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to approve?
Dr. Marshall, move to approve.
Chris Johnson, seconded.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. So Dr. Ott,
Aye.
Dr. Klaas,
Aye.
Ms. Pippin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye with gusto.
Okay, very good. Dr. Marshall,
Aye.
Dr. Simon,
Aye.
Dr. Toma, and I don't want to tell you what to do, but you are welcome to abstain since this is your first meeting. So I just wanted to throw that out for you, should you desire to.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Dr. Treadwell.
I will also abstain. I was not at the meeting.
Okay. And Dr. Williams.
Ditto, abstain. I was not at the meeting
Okay.
last month.
So we have 6 ayes and 3 abstentions, so that will still carry. All right. So then we will move on then to our presentation of the prior authorization statistics then. So our PA stats for November 2023 on the fee-for-service side. So overall, we had 73% approved, just a little over 21,000 PAs approved, and then 27% were denied, which was just shy of coming up on 8,000 there that were denied. When we look at our manual PAs and the clinical call center versus silent auth, so for our new member, just a quick refresher for those who have heard this before, for our new member, silent auth is an automated PA system that processes at point of sale. So it looks at different attributes for the patient, the prescriber, claims history, medical data, and then if people meet criteria based on that, then it'll just automatically pay at point of sale, and then if they don't, it will reject for a prior authorization. So it's kind of a seamless process for them. And then the stats that we label out as clinical call center, those are just straight manual PAs, meaning that the doctor either has to send in an EPA, call, fax, whatever the situation they want to follow in to have that PA process. So in our silent auth system, 76% were approved, 24% were denied. Of those that were denied at point of sale, 23% went to the call center for manual review, where 81% were denied or approved and 19% were denied. And so you may be asking yourself, if we approve so many in the call center, why were they denied in the point of sale system automatically? And so just a refresher for that for some is a lot of times we may not have all the data, so medical data tends to lag approximately 3 to 4 months sometimes, so we may not have the data there. Or in cases where they have duplicate therapy, let's say, maybe they discontinued the other agent, but we can't know that until somebody calls us. We do have a lot of stimulant call-ins right now for people who are out of stock of the previous med that they were on and having to switch to another or switch to multiple capsules or tablets of a different strength. So those are some of the situations where it may not approve automated. For the manual PA side, we had 52% approved, just a little over 1,100, and 48% denied, so around a little over 1,000 there. When we look at our overall trending graph of all that were approved and denied, you can see the denied has overall stayed pretty steady, if anything decreasing just slightly. And we have had kind of this upward trend since September on the PA approvals, which I think are probably related to a couple of things. So one, when we entered this season, we do tend to have some increased PAs around some of the seasonal drugs like our inhalers, Synagis, things of that nature. The other thing that I mentioned before is we are having some major stimulant shortages still, and so we're having a lot of people switch out agents there, and so we do see a high approval rate as those individuals switch. So that's kind of a lot of what I think we're looking at right now on this increase at this point. When we look at our top 10 PAs that process through the automated system, it's not really shocking that we see stimulants in the #1 position. And as you can see, the vast majority of those are approved through the system. And then we have opioids and antipsychotics in second and third, and those are usually pretty consistently our top 3 as far as our review that we have in that group. And then in our manual PAs, we have the early refills in kind of a higher position, which is not really surprising in this season. So in the November, December timeframe, we do sometimes see more early refills with people traveling for the holidays and going to see family, et cetera. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the beta adrenergics and corticosteroids are up in the second position. And then our mental health quality advisory committee utilization edits are in the third. So overall, what we see in this top group, it tends to be pretty consistent. You might notice the agents for the treatment of cystic fibrosis made a pop into this group this time. They occasionally pop in and out. And that usually just has to do with the cyclical nature of when their PAs are renewed, since they kind of they come out with a new indication, everybody rushes to get the drug and have a PA, and so then we kind of cycle through every 6 months to a year or so with different people coming in. So we had another cycle hit at this time. Any questions on any of the, I see Mr. Johnson has a hand raised. Mr. Johnson.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, just looking at some of these, typically from a gross, large perspective, you're running about 45, 55 breakouts. But what's interesting, what is it about the beta adrenergic corticosteroids, the GLP-1s, that we have such high percentages of denial? And what is it that they're being used for that doesn't fit the criteria for approval?
So GLP-1s, a lot of weight loss going on, which we don't reimburse for. So we'll see a lot of denials there, or just them trying to get to a non-preferred agent without using the preferred. So a lot of people trying to get to Mounjaro before they've trialed any of the preferred agents. So that, I would say, are the top 2 there. Similar thing in the beta adrenergics and corticosteroids. We have a lot of people trying to get to non-preferred agents before they've trialed any of the preferred products. So that's typically what we see in this season, is just, and a lot of times I think it's prescribers don't always know what the preferred product is. And so once they figure out what it is, they prescribe that and it's fine. But we always see an increase around this time period in that group, usually due to preference status.
So the GLP-1s are, I'm assuming SmartPay, we're looking for diabetes as a diagnosis on that. That's why they're being flagged to deny.
Yeah, diabetes. We also have NASH in there, and there's another one. Yeah, polycystic ovarian syndrome is also in there, depending on their approved compendia and approved indications.
Amanda, do you have a feel on the MHQAC? Do you have a feel for what the breakdown is on type of provider that those are coming through on?
So
Yeah,
We
whether
don't
it's
specifically.
mental health centers or not.
I haven't specifically pulled that recently. In the past, when I've looked at it though, it has been a lot of what I would say like general practitioners, internal medicine, family practice, et cetera. So just as a reminder, those are usually around age or quantity limit edits for the mental health drugs that they're trying to exceed fall into that bucket. And so it kind of depends. We're also seeing some of the stimulant quantity limits fall into that bucket too. So in the cases where maybe their higher strength isn't available and they go to a lower strength, but they're exceeding the quantity limit, you know, of 1 or 2 a day and they have to double, we assess those in there too. So that may also be falling in there. So it does tend to fluctuate a little bit depending on what we've put in there at that time, but I would say the vast majority of what's in there is quantity limits versus the age. Occasionally age falls in there, but it's mostly quantity limits. And I would guesstimate based on what I know we're seeing right now that the vast majority is still, you know, general PCP type providers in there, but we certainly could take a look and see what's falling in.
Great, thanks. I would guess then they're doing what they were designed to if it's primarily coming through primary care. So thank you.
Surely. Any other questions I can answer? All right, I will move us on to our opioid statistics then for November. So we did again have just a little slight increase in our total utilizers from October, but we had a decrease in our new utilizers. So you might remember in October, we had a little bit of a bump up in our new utilizers. So now I think that kind of came back down again. In our utilizers under 18, you can see the numbers there. Their day supply has even gone down a little bit more. We're at 4.3 days as their average day supply. So pretty good to see that kind of adjust down versus it was holding pretty steady close to the 5 days. So that's come down a little bit. You can see the breakout here for the less than 90 to 750 or greater and the number of utilizers in those that are PA exempt. And just for our newest members, so we do have MME limits for new starts as well as MME limits for current utilizers that we're working our way down. So currently we're at 575, I believe, and we're moving down to 525 come January 1st. So we're working, we started at 1,000, so we're actually making really good headway. If you're like, oh my gosh, 575 seems insane, but when you start at 1,000, you know, we're making our way down. And so we do have people that can be exempt from some of those requirements. That includes cancer, sickle cell, and other end-of-life or palliative care diagnoses. So that's when you see this PA exempt over here to the right. Those are those individuals. So since we are in like the 575, soon to be 525 range, you can see we don't have very many people there and they're all PA exempt at this point. So we have been kind of moving people down the line and they've been going the direction that we want them to go, which is good. So if we look at this is just kind of showing that data in a graph format, but not including the less than 90 since it would skew the data. So again, you can see the vast majority of our patients are in the either less than 90 or the 90 to 120. Then if we look at the overall trend, so in the greenish color or teal color at the bottom, that is our current utilizers greater than 18. The cranberry color in the middle is our new utilizers. And then the bluish purple color at the top is our current utilizers that are 18 and under. And so you can see the new utilizers kind of shrunk back down a little bit in November from where it was in October when it kind of went up a little bit. We are still kind of having this slight little upward trend. We haven't had a chance yet to pull the ER doctors. That's something we're going to start looking at here to then hopefully maybe January or February we'll have some information. You might remember at our last meeting, we discussed that from the P&T meeting we had, or therapeutics committee meeting, Dr. Shaw had mentioned that he thought he was seeing some increase in emergency room doctors prescribing again. So we're going to try and take a look at that and see what that data looks like and see if it's trending in that way to see if that's why we're increasing slightly around that line. So we'll have some information on that within the next couple months to discuss. Then if we look at kind of the trend over time in each MME group, you can see the less than 90 has trended kind of drastically up as we've discussed before, which We think these are people having, as more voluntary procedures have happening after COVID, we've seen an increase in that, and new starts, which we've had, they tend to fall into this group. And then when we look at the rest of the population, you can see the 750, which is down at the bottom, and then that purplish color, the 500 to 750 is right above that. You can see that's trended down to the numbers where we have the PA exempt individuals, and then the 250 to less than 500, which is the orange, has trended up. So we have moved people the way we expect to move them and see them to move. Just a reminder to the group that we have very small numbers here, very relatively small population. So when we start looking at, just one individual can sometimes really change the graph, especially when you're in the, 750, 500 range. So just kind of a reminder there. But what we're seeing is what we would expect to see and hope to see based on how we're handling the PA. Any questions that I can answer on any of that? Alrighty, hearing none, then we will move to the next item on the agenda, which is any update from managed care. Managed care, any updates today? I'm looking at Cindy just because she's the only one in the room. I don't want to put you on the spot. I know everybody else is on the phone, but any update? All right, I am hearing none. There goes my cords. So let's go ahead and move on then to new drugs. So we do have a couple of new drugs that we wanted to capture. So for the non-SUPDL PA and step therapy PA, we have Furoscix, which is a subcutaneous furosemide that's in a kit. And we wanted to add a requested quantity does not exceed 6 kits per 30 days. And the prescriber has submitted medical justification as to why the member needs to exceed those 6 kits per 30 days. And then I was discussing this earlier. This one's got a lot of weird consonant setups. I think it's Jalambo or Jalambo. It's a methotrexate product, and it's supposed to, for its PA criteria for initial members 18 years of age or older, or they're unable to swallow the tablet formulation. And then for the reauthorization, they've either had a history of the requested agent within the past 90 days, or they're unable to swallow the tablet formulation, and they're unable to swallow the tablet formulation still. So if something changed and they were able to swallow, then they should go to the tablet. Any questions on any of the new drugs today? If I could get a motion and a second, please, then.
Dr. Class, move to approve.
Chris Johnson, I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. So Dr. Ott.
Aye.
Dr. Class.
Aye.
Ms. Fippen.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Dr. Marshall.
Aye.
Dr. Simon.
Aye.
Dr. Toma.
Aye.
Dr. Treadwell.
Aye.
And Dr. Williams.
Aye.
All right, we have all ayes, so that will carry. We will then move on to the next agenda item, which is liaison with other boards. Any liaison with other boards discussions today? All right, I am hearing none. Did we have any public comment in the room? Okay, so we have no public comment in the room, but I do see a message in the chat box, so let's check that.
I want to remind public speakers, per product, you can have 2 speakers, and you need to limit your comments to new product information or new products since last review, please.
Okay. Any public comment in either in the, you could shoot me a message in the chat, raise your hand, start speaking. Any and all will work.
Hi, my name is Denise Hall. I'm with Cooper Surgical. We sent in a request to have your board look at adding Paragard, which is the only non-hormonal IUD, to your specialty pharmacy formulary. So we're just here following up to see if there was any questions.
We have that on new business.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, you're fine. Any other public comment? All right, I am hearing and seeing none, so we will then move on to old business. Any old business today? All right, we will move on to new business then. So again, for the non-SUPDL and PA and step therapy update, we have Espruzio, which is a ranolazine sprinkle packet. We're updating the criteria to include separate initial and reauthorization criteria. For Carasphere, which is the spironolactone suspension, updating the criteria to include separate initial and reauth criteria and adding an age limit of 18 years and older. And then updating criteria throughout to require chart documentation for those unable to swallow various tablet or capsule formulations, just to be consistent with our other PA. For the testosterone PA, we are updating the reauth criteria look back for all products to look for a history of therapy within the past 120 days. This would be except for method tests for indications other than hypogonadism and Danacrin. And so this will just look for to see if they've had a history of therapy in the past 120 to make sure we're looking at the right lab values when we're looking for the reauth versus initial therapy. Roctavian PA, which is on the medical benefit only, they're updating the criteria to have member must not have received a prior gene therapy treatment, so that's being added to the criteria. And then under the SUPDL updates, the Paragard intrauterine copper IUD is going to be added as a preferred product under the contraceptives drug class. And then we have some preferred brand drugs updates. So additions to the list will be Banzel tablets and the Forteo, 600 micrograms to 2.4 mLs. And then we're removing some products from the preferred brand list. So Afinitor, Banzel, suspension, Velvital, Calitra, Mirvaso, and Noxafil suspension will be removed from the brand preferred list. So the generic will be preferred over the brand. And then, Ms. Pippin, coming back to you on the OTC drug formulary from last month, we do have Senosides and Docusate sodium tablets being added to the OTC drug formulary under the gastrointestinal products. They will have a quantity limit of 8 tablets per day. All right, and then we do have some vaccine updates that are FYI only. So for non-VFC pharmacies, the Afluria, which is the influenza vaccine, is being removed from coverage. The IPOL or the polio vaccine is updating its max lifetime quantity limit to 5 doses per lifetime. Jynneos is being updated to age limit to 19 years and older. Menactra is being removed from coverage. Penbrea is being added to the vaccine list with an age limit of 19 years through 25 years and a quantity limit of 1 dose per 6 months. Ticavac is being updated its max lifetime quantity limit to 4 doses per lifetime for the 1 to 3 year old, and then maintaining its quantity limit of 4 doses per lifetime for individuals 4 to 15. And then on the VFC pharmacies, the Afluria is being updated a quantity limit to 1 dose per season. IPOL is updating its max quantity limit to 5 doses per lifetime for those 18 years of age and older, and then 4 doses for 6 weeks through 17 years. Menactra is being removed from coverage. Penbrea is being added to the list with age limit of 10 through 25 years, and then 10 to 17 years has a quantity limit of the 1 dose every 6 months and 2 doses per lifetime, and 18 to 25 just has the 1 dose per 6 months. And then Ticavac is updating its max lifetime dose to 4 doses for 1 to 3 and maintaining at 4 doses for 4 to 15 years of age. So those are FYIs, but all of the others are things that we will need to take a vote on. Any questions or comments?
Is there a motion to approve?
Dr. Marshall moved to approve. Second.
Who did that? So who was the second or the other person? I didn't quite hear them.
Peacher's the
I heard
second.
Dr. Marshall. Petra, okay. Perfect. All right, Dr. Ott,
Aye.
Dr. Class,
Aye.
Ms. Fippen,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Dr. Marshall,
Aye.
Dr. Simon,
Aye.
Dr. Toma,
Aye.
Dr. Treadwell,
Aye.
and Dr. Williams.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. We have all ayes, so that motion will carry. So at this point, I believe that takes us to the end of our agenda, unless there are any other new business that anybody had for today. Hearing none, Dr. Ott, I will turn it over to you for our final item of adjournment.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting for today. And again, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday season and hope you get to have a peaceful, restful time, at least for some of it. I know I will. I'm planning on it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
take care,
Happy
everybody
holidays.
else. Insane. Happy
See you in
holidays.
January.
Bye-bye.
Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.